In previous episodes, we talked about defining data and AI governance and how to build a roadmap. Today we are going to discuss how to implement that roadmap. So let's get started. So Kevin, how do you implement a data and AI governance roadmap?
So implementing the roadmap is really the tricky part, right? So we talked about what a good roadmap looks like. You can think of an implementation plan for a specific project as sort of a microcosm of that larger roadmap. We have all the same 7 work streams we talked about. Mm-hmm. So the idea is just to get into a lot more detail about what you're going to need for that specific project. So you have a targeted application. Now you want to get into extreme detail about what that application is actually going to do, what the architecture of that application is going to be, and so on. Then you want to know what specific data, not just what data sources you're going to need, but each individual attribute, every unstructured document that you might need. You want to articulate those very specifically. Then you get into data management. So here, when we've done our, let's call it the risk management framework, I've determined what are the risks that I'm dealing with, mm-hmm. What is the impact of those risks. Then I'm going to think about, so maybe some of those risks are data quality related. That means I'm going to take specific actions in my data management work stream to address the specific issues associated with my targeted application. Then I get into architecture. So what very specific, now maybe we were thinking logically about what that overall architecture needed to look like. We need some data ingestion processes. Maybe we need some real-time ingestion. Maybe we need data lake, data warehouse, and other capabilities. Now we need to actually figure out which specific technologies, what are the timeliness requirements I'm going to need, mm-hmm. And then what kind of data structures do I have? Am I going to need to vectorize my data and so on? I've got to pick the very specific technologies I'm going to use for this targeted application and do so in a manner that I know I'm going to be using these same capabilities again and again in the future. And then we get into security. So this is another risk that we'd want to analyze. So what specific regulatory issues might I encounter because of the application that I'm targeting? What specific sensitive data is going to be a part of the application that I'm building? And then the operating model. So here again, we're talking about the operating model related to data and AI and the associated governance. So what specific data steward am I going to need to help ready my data for this specific application, for this initiative that I'm targeting? Which data scientists are going to help me adapt and train the models? And what does that look like? And how am I going to relate this specific set of data scientists to the AI governance model that I'm building as well? So again, to summarize, the idea is to take all 7 work streams from the roadmap that we talked about and just take a slice of all of them and go very deep on what we're going to implement specifically for this targeted application. But there are things that you can do sort of under the hood mm-hmm. when you're building these solutions and the underlying capabilities so that you can scale and you can build momentum and you don't have to do the same underlying capabilities over and over again.
Thanks for the insights, Kevin.
Sure thing, Abbas.
It's great. In this episode, we talk about how to implement data and AI governance roadmap. In the next episode, we will describe how to find balance between centralization and decentralization in governance. See you next time.